Hello, both sides of the conversation family. We welcome you to this virtual space crafted especially for you. My name is Jada Curry, and I'm both sides of the conversation's marketing director and graphics design specialist. I want to take some time to ground us all as a community into this space we are about to open up in, so let's go through our community standards. Both sides of the conversation is providing a safe and honest space for open conversation, so we ask that you all be respectful of that. We also ask that you be respectful of each panelist, host, and participant. We do encourage healthy debates and conversations. Don't personalize anything with anyone. This includes name-calling, bullying, trolling, or shaming. This will not be allowed or tolerated. Your perspective is yours. It is not a prescription. You do not have to agree, but show respect. These community standards apply to all of our live shows and any virtual spaces that we hold on social media, including YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We want to make sure that we are caring for each other as a community. This is our priority in all of our endeavors as both sides of the conversation. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's show and continue to stay in touch with us via YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or all of them. All right, thank you for listening and see you soon.
Welcome, everybody, to both sides of the conversation. I'm John Henry, Executive Director, and today I have with me Ayanna Matthews, co-hosting with me today. I know everybody's like, where Tony at? Tony is out celebrating her young son's birthday, so shout out to him. Happy birthday to that young brother. And y'all see Tony shortly coming back to be co-hosting with us here at both sides of the conversation. Today is our Sunday conversation, as you all know. Okay, every Sunday, usually our shows start at 2 o'clock, but today is the youth conversation. So what that means is our youth is taking over the platform, and they're going to be talking about topics throughout the year that impacts them. I know a lot of folks from the community wants to hear from our young people, and today you will be hearing from our young people. So we are excited. The youth conversations will be on Sunday. When they have their youth conversation, the show will actually start at 3 o'clock. So just wanted to give that information up to the community. I know a lot of people was texting me saying, hey, where y'all at? It's 2 o'clock. but our youth conversations always start at 3. So y'all be seeing them 1 hour later than the normal show. But with that being said, I want to get into some of the news. Let Ayana say what's up to everybody in a second, but want to go ahead and just get over some important news. As you all been seeing on our social media across the community, we had another vicious attack that happened to one of our community leaders, James Spangola of Collective Impact. As you all know, he was viciously beaten. Just basically doing the work, trying to support our community at the community center, our young folks, the kids that's in there. There's been a number of problems at the community center with folks coming in, transients, homeless folks, people selling drugs, using drugs, violence, different things that take place. Y'all know our community centers are located sometimes in some of the toughest neighborhoods in our community. But with this attack, it touched not only me, our team, everybody, because of the love of Uncle Stank and what he does for our young people, for our elders, for the community. And we can't have this type of thing happening to people and our leaders and pillars of our community. So this is definitely something that we're going to be continuing to push forward. There's a lot of talks coming up, a lot of people upset, a lot of people calling what we're going to do. We got a number of things that we're going to put together. First, we just want to make sure Uncle Stank get a speedy recovery. I talked to him today. He's feeling good. His spirits is up. Definitely, he is still dealing with pain and different things of that nature and just processing. So, we want to give Uncle Stank his space, his time to heal. And hopefully we get him back in the community soon. Y'all know Uncle Stank ain't going to sit down for too long. But again, we want to make sure that he's supported, uplifted. We have a GoFundMe that we're doing for Uncle Stank. It's all over the social media. It's been doing well. Community people are coming to support. We'll be putting up that GoFundMe here. It's on our website. It's all over the place to support Uncle Stank. As you all know, he does so much for our community. Every day he works 120 hours sometimes. I'd be like, Uncle Stank, sit down. But, he's dedicated to the community, dedicated to the people. And we just want to make sure that his love and the hard work and dedication that he has for our community is appreciated. And we're going to do everything we can to make sure whatever he needs, his family needs, his granddaughter need, we're going to make sure that they have it, whether it's mental health services to deal with the trauma, whatever they need, we're going to make sure that he don't have any worries about that. So, very heartwarming, very touched me very well. I'm a little frustrated, upset, still processing all of this. But this is a time that we come together as community, especially one of our seniors, one of our leaders, one of our pillars in the community are impacted. We stand up, too many times in our community, we stand up and support everybody, the Asian community, white community, Jewish community. When things happen, we rally behind them. Now one of ours in our community has been impacted by violence. And I hope all communities come together in solidarity with this situation and this situation moving forward to all of the people across San Francisco, the Bay Area, and beyond. Like, we need to have some real conversations. How do we put in these grant fundings and this funding to make sure that our community centers that serve our kids, our young people, our elders are protected with paid armed security? Okay, when these mass shootings happen and these attacks happen in different communities, they get paid security. We want to make sure that our little babies are protected. We want to make sure our elders are protected. And definitely our leader, even though we know Uncle Stank is going to stand up, shouldn't be having to run people off the property for trying to, set up shop to do drugs. And it's a lot of things over there that needs to be addressed. But again, we want security. He is serving our young Black and brown kids of this community. Okay, these are K through 12 kids, and we need to make sure that our kids are protected and safe. So whatever that means, whether it's an hour before the start of their programming and an hour after their programming, we need paid security to make sure that the premises that our young people and our elders are on in these communities are protected. As we know, we work in some of the most violent and communities that are impacted in many, many ways. So we want to make sure that information get out there. There's a number of talks. We're reaching out to our supervisors. We're reaching out to the mayor. We're reaching out to the city departments, everybody. We want to get everybody on the same page to make sure that our Black and brown babies in this community is protected. And I'm going to do my part, everything I have to do. I'm going to use my voice, this platform, to make sure that message get out. We have enough. We are not taking any more of this in our community. We want our kids protected no matter what community center they go to. We want them to have security and feel safe when they on the premises. So with that being said, just want to go through a couple of things. I know that took a lot of time, but for Uncle Stank is never too much. But yesterday we had a phenomenal event Both sides of the conversation, a number of community organizations came together with the Dream Keepers. We were able to send 60 plus youth up to Sacramento drag racing. Y'all going to see some of the footage, some of the photos. They'll be coming out over the next couple of days. We took kids from San Francisco and took them to Sacramento to get out of the city, see something different. What an impactful event. All of the community organizations that came together to make this happen. Mo Magic, Collective Impact, Booker T. Washington, both sides of the conversation, Brown Bombers, number of folks supported. And the Dreamkeeper Initiative, man, you know, we have to say, man, this Dreamkeeper Initiative is making major impact in our community. So definitely we want to shout out our mayor, London Breed, our board president, supervisor, Shaman Walton. And we also want to give a huge shout out to Director Dr. Davis of the Human Rights Commission for just believing in the community. And these resources, this Dreamkeeper Initiative is really putting opportunities for our young people to have a summer experience, to have the opportunity to get outside of San Francisco and see something different. It was a very, very hot day yesterday, but our young people hang in there and did the most that they could do. They had the water slides up for them, but it was a cooker, and they enjoyed themselves. And hopefully more and more of these type of outings to impact our community will be there for us. Also, all of our both sides of the conversation stuff, we got a lot going on. Please subscribe to our newsletter and all the stuff that we have going on. We would like to get you on. Y'all know this platform, all we do is support our community, Black and brown community. We support everybody, but that's what we focus on. And we just want to make sure that all our business owners and all of the people that's doing amazing things to impact our community sign up for our Hidden Gem segment every Tuesday at 7 p.m. We always give you all free space to come on and promote your business and talk about some of the things that you are doing to positively impact our community. Every Thursday, we have our Educational Thursday segment. Keep on community coming in, doing your PowerPoint presentations and educating our community. Very important stuff. And then every Sunday, these Sunday conversations definitely are going to get busier and get better, especially dealing with the issues and the things that we are talking about. But today is our youth. And before we get into the world announcements, I want to pass it over to Miss Ayana and introduce herself to the community and say hello before we go into our announcements.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for having me. I'm so excited to be here, and I just look forward to this wonderful conversation that we're going to have with our amazing youth today. Thank you for having me, John.
All right. With that being said, we already talked about Uncle Stank. That was one of the top announcements for the community. But again, keep y'all prayers out. We hope for a speedy recovery for Uncle Stank. Also, the monkeypox cases are on the rise, not only in San Francisco, but across the Bay Area and across the world. The New World Health Organization has said for the second week, there's been emerging cases. I think there's been about 63 countries that's been impacted. I think right now it's about 9,200 cases of monkeypox that's been reported. This is spread and this disease is real. I hope everybody is getting access. I've been on a number of those Department of Public Health calls. We're going to get some of those folks to come on our Educational Thursday to educate our community about it. But please, if you have any signs or symptoms, we'll put up a link about it. Please go in there and check it out. If you haven't been vaccinated, please check in as this disease is spreading out through our community. Also, Ivana Trump, the first ex-wife of President Donald Trump, has died, according to multiple news reports. I believe she had fell down some stairs in her townhome and passed away from her injuries. So our condolences to her. Also, the fall semester at Laney College is free. That is great news. I know more and more colleges are looking for ways to provide free opportunities to go to college, and Laney is doing that. So they announced that the fall 22 classes will be there for free for folks. So please go to Laney College website, sign up, go learn some of those free classes, and they have a great technology and trades program over there. So for all you that's looking to get into trades or looking how to get training, Laney has a phenomenal training program there in Oakland. So please reach out to them. Also, San Francisco City Colleges, they're taking their openings. They got a number of programs as well. Please, young people, take advantage of it. When I came up, we had to pay for everything. You get an opportunity to get something free, learn something, take that knowledge, and go forward with it. Now we're going to jump over to our community events. Last Thursday, I believe that was or Tuesday, it was Thursday. They had the ribbon cutting celebration for the Southeast Community Center. That's the old Southeast Center. Beautiful center. They are doing a number of things for health-wise for our community, dealing with asthma, a number of things. I know UCSF is a part of it. So we've seen the mayor, Shaman, out there breaking ground, opening it up. We'll get somebody from that center to come on and do an education presentation about the services and things that they are providing for the community. I think that is going to be a blessing. Again, in our communities with the disparities we found during COVID, the amount of medical and health issues, the disparities that our community deals with, it's nice to have a local center there in the community that folks can go to and get support. Our next event that we want to announce to community is the Arson Soul Community Concert that is happening in Oakland. This is a free concert for the community, Saturday, July 23rd. We are looking forward to the folks coming out there. Usually this is a 3-day weekend event. I believe this year it's 1 day. It's going to be Saturday, July 23rd from noon to 6 p.m. Downtown at the Frank Iguala Plaza. So looking forward to folks getting out there, enjoying. They usually have a nice lineup. It's always a nice vendors and things of that nature out there. So if you get a chance, community, go out there, hang out with folks. Please wear your mask and safe distance. We are still having an uprise in COVID cases. So even though you're going out, please wear your mask, safe distance, but go out and enjoy, meet some people in the community, have a great, great time. Also, the Bayview National Night Out is happening. This is going to be, they're going to have a community talent show, a kids zone, free food, and much more. That is happening Tuesday, August the 2nd, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Bayview Opera House. I believe both sides of the conversation will be out there. We'll let y'all know if you want to register. We'll put the information up on the screen. And you guys could go ahead and register if you would like to be a part of the National Night Out. Also, the Alive and Free Omega's Alumni Friends Barbecue is happening in August. It will be August the 6th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. They are celebrating 35 years of service to the community. Castro Valley Community Park and Lake Chabot and Castro Valley. That's going to be happening from 11 to 6 p.m. And we just want to say thank you to the Live and Free Omega Boys Club, Street Soldiers. Tonight, for y'all that don't know, both sides of the conversation, our whole team will be on Alive and Free Radio tonight at 8:30 p.m. So tune in and you guys can check out all of our folks and people on the team. But again, they are celebrating their 35 years of service. They have done so many things for our young people, sent over 300 folks to college and graduating. Some of our alumni, some of the team that's on our team will be there. And some of those folks have benefited from the work Alive and Free has done for our community. So I want to say thank you to Dr. Marshall. I want to say thank you to Jack Jackwood, Coach, all of the folks, a part of Omega alumni. I was one of the alumni as well. It's a great program, and just wanted to make sure that they get their acknowledgement. And again, y'all will see all of us there tonight at 8:30. Tune in, Street Soldiers. All right. And then we have the Invest Black Youth Comedy Show that's coming up. That will be happening in August 13th. We'll keep everybody abreast of what's going on there. I know it has the Eventbrite link up there, but I've been told that all the tickets is sold out. So if you haven't got your tickets, sorry, you won't be able to go unless somebody cancels. And if somebody cancels, we'll put it on the air. Maybe somebody can get that ticket. But we're looking forward. We'll be there and enjoying the comedy show and award show for our young folks. So we are excited about that. Also, the B Magic 19th annual backpack giveaway celebration is happening. It's coming up. We are excited. We'll be a part of that on August the 13th at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Please reach out to the Maya from the Mora. I don't know why Maya's in my head. Mora from the B Magic. The information is up there. Email her if you or your family, you want to find out how to get connected so that you can get a backpack, pencils. We know inflation is high. The cost of living is high. We know some of our community families are going to be struggling with discretionary funds with this gas so high. So we want to at least make sure that you get out there to Be Magic and get you a free backpack. They're going to have haircut services, a number of things that they do every year for the community and for the kids. And we want to make sure that our young folks have all the educational tools that they need to be successful for the school year. The last event that's taking place, the Camp Mather High Sierra Teen Outdoor Experience, is going to be happening. I know most of the spots have been filled, but if you want to reach out, there is some information to connect. Maybe some folks canceled or couldn't make it, but if you have teenage kids or some folks that would like to be a part of that, please make sure that they get an opportunity, reach out to that number and talk to them, and they will get the youth to go. Also, for our both sides of the conversation announcements, we are still looking for volunteers to help continue to push our community forward. We are always looking for talented folks with different backgrounds to come on and support the community. Y'all see the work we do. Y'all know how we make an impact. So if that is you, you have a great skill set, you have some stuff that you looking for a way to give back. Because I'm tired of these people always talking about, I don't know how to connect with the community, John. How can I give back? You can come work with us. Come support us. And we're looking for volunteers. Go to our website, sign up at both sides of the conversation, or www.bsotc. Reach out, or you can send us information at info@bsotc, and one of the lovely folks from our team will reach out to you and get you connected. Also, if you would like to support us financially, because y'all know we don't got no money. We be doing everything we can. We ain't got no money. We need some support. So if you would like to donate to us, please go to our website. You could donate, or you could go to the Amazon Smile and donate that way. You could choose both sides of the conversation as one of your charitable organizations, and no extra cost to you. But every time you purchase something on Amazon, they will give a 0.5% donation to our organization. So go to Amazon. I know a lot of y'all love Amazon. I see the boxes. Every time you purchase something, you can help us out, because we're going to help the community out. So please go do that. Go there and help us. Every dollar counts. Every donation counts. All of our donation goes back to the community. We try to make sure our people in the community is impacted, and that's just what we do. Also, go follow us. All you got to do is go follow us. You love us. You like what we're doing. Go follow us on all our social media handles, both sides of the conversation. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter. We all over the place. LinkedIn. Check us out. Go support. And we appreciate you. Also, that we are proud to announce we got a lot of services that we have for community, because we're not fully funded and we don't have all of the money like other organizations. We utilize our services through donations to support us. If you would like us to bring out the 360 booth so you can have photos and have a booth at your event, please reach out to us at events@BSOTC. Find out what type of cost that would, and you can make a lovely donation, and we'll have that out at your event. Also, we got the drone. If you got an event, a wedding, you're doing something, you would like us to come out and take aerial footage of your event, oh man, it's beautiful. Check out the footage that we're going to be putting from this weekend's race up there. It is a beautiful thing. Talk to us about what it would cost, and make that donation, and we'll get that out to your event as well. Also, our shows coming up. We have our Hidden Gem show, like I said earlier, this Tuesday at 7 p.m. Also, we'll be having Educational Thursday at 6 p.m. this Thursday, and we'll be having another Sunday conversation next Sunday at 2 p.m. So thank you all. Enough of me. I've said enough. I got through all the announcements. I updated the community. It is time to hear from our young folks. Uncle Stank, you love the young people. You like to hear from them. Here they go. Come listen to these remarkable young folks. We're going to start bringing them up on the stage. And today they want to talk about the pros and cons of technology, social media. What does that look like? And we excited. So with that being said, I'm going to start bringing them up one at a time, and they can introduce themselves to you all so y'all can know who they are, what they're doing. They can be putting up their social media handles. Follow them. They are very, very, very talented young folks. And we are honored that they are taking the lead, stepping up, hosting their own conversation. And for all y'all out there that like to support you, go ahead and donate so that we can make sure that these young folks stay impacted with some money in their pocket. All right, don't be cheap out there. Spend some of that money and give back to these young people, all right? With that being said, we're going to bring up Miss Deja Ward. Deja, welcome to our Sunday conversation. Introduce yourself to the community, Deja.
Hi, I'm Deja Ward. I am a rising third-year student at Clark Atlanta University. I graduated high school in class of 2020, and I'm from the Bay Area.
All right, Brother Devin Ward. Come on up, Brother Devin.
How y'all doing? I'm Devin Ward, Deja Ward's brother. I also am a third-year rising junior. I attend Xavier University of Louisiana, that's located in New Orleans. I'm a business finance major, and I'm from the Bay Area as well.
Come on, look at these smart young folks. People, what y'all talking about? Black folks ain't selling. Look at these young, beautiful, talented young black folks. Next, we got Nia Ross. Nia, come on up and tell the people where you at, what you doing.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nia. I am part of the youth here at BSOTC, and I go to the illustrious Clark Atlanta University with Deja, and I am a third-year student as well.
All right. Brother Xavier, come up and let people know who you are, where you at, brother.
Hey, how y'all doing? My name's Savion Babers, from the Bay Area. I went to Tuskegee University for mechanical engineering for a little bit, and now I'm doing sales. I'm in the sales rep.
Man, look at you. I see you, young brother. Brother Brandon Powell, you back again. Hey, y'all, last week he had a great show. Everybody was just like, y'all got to bring Brandon back. See what the community asked. We make it happen. This young, powerful brother, he's back again. Brandon, go ahead and introduce yourself to the community.
Why you gotta put all that pressure on me, man? Hi, everybody. How you doing? For those of you who don't know me or didn't see me last week, I'm Brandon. I just graduated at some state university with a degree in general business administration. I'm also a San Francisco native, and John Henry is my cousin. He invited me on here, so I enjoy being here. I can't wait to talk with all these other young folks and just hang out and build up. It's gonna be fun.
All right. Miss Tarika Hines.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tarika Hines. I'm a rising sophomore at Southern University at New Orleans, and I'm from Bayview, Hunters Point.
All right. She putting that 94124 step on it. Miss Kendall.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kendall Jackson, and I also attend the illustrious Xavier University of Louisiana with Devin. I am a rising sophomore, and I'm also from the Bay Area.
Man, look at this. This is beautiful, y'all. All the New Orleans is just loving it. We bringing the Bay Area love everywhere. But with that being said, today is a conversation about social media and the pros and cons of it. I think for y'all young folks, this is a great topic because again, a lot of times the elders in the community don't understand. They're trying to catch up to y'all. Y'all see some of the things, so we're gonna utilize y'all voice today to just talk about it and help educate community. And we're gonna kick it off, and just get everybody's thoughts. Give a little rundown, the pros and cons. What do y'all think? How social media helps, how it don't, and how using this technology and social media can help you in other ways, the positives and negatives. And we just go kick it off like that. And Ayana, anytime you got a question for them, go ahead and ask community. If you ain't watching, I see a lot of y'all on YouTube. We got Facebook. We on our live on Facebook, our page and group. If y'all would like to ask these phenomenal young folks any questions or parents that's out there, if y'all be like, y'all see y'all kids doing something y'all don't understand. Today we have the youth. Put your comments in the chat. If you're on our YouTube, use the live chat function and we'll get your comments and questions out. If you just want to shout out to youth and just say we love y'all, we support y'all, and we happy that y'all here today, you could do that as well. Please put in the live chats on our both sides of the conversation page, our group, or on our YouTube. With that being said, I'm going to turn it over to y'all who want to open up.
I could start. So, yeah, our topic is pros and cons of social media and technology. And I believe that social media is a good thing. Like, it's a fun thing, but it could promote like negative energy. And as for technology, it could provide like better access to things, but I think it's brainwashing, especially for the youth. It's like become mandatory for people to check their phones every minute. Like people act like we can't live without it.
That's pretty dope. Anybody else? Come on, let's go. We got to get it going.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think when it comes to social media, right, there's this perception of like those people on there who follow you are actually like your friends. I think oftentimes people misconstrue real friendships with social media friendships, and those are two completely different things. You can have real friends on there, but everybody on there isn't your friend. You get what I'm saying? It's like it's okay to have you post pictures of yourself to have fun, but it has to be put in its proper place. And also, it's very easy to spend too much time on social media to the point where it takes over more important activities of your life, maybe like working or spending time with your family or doing chores. Yes, you still have to do chores even when you're an adult. You gotta keep your place clean. So you should spend time doing that if you live on your own or if you're in a dorm. You should take time to clean up stuff, and you won't be able to do that if you're on your phone. And I have to work on this too. So it's not just a everybody else thing; it's a me thing too. And then another thing, technology is great in many different aspects, but it's also not great in different aspects. I feel like technology should be used more for like things that take up a lot of time and can be made shorter in order for more efficiency to make more money and to do things like that, but you shouldn't just use it for everything. I feel like oftentimes people can't entertain themselves without technology, or they can't, like, they don't know how to do anything without having technology around. Like, if you take someone's phone away, they just don't know what to do. They can't do anything. If you tell them go find a way to have fun without using tech, they just can't do it. Find a way to communicate without using tech, can't do it. Yeah, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure like your social skills definitely are impacted when you use social media a whole lot. You don't really know how to directly talk to people. I've run into people so many times where it's like I talk to them and they just give one word answers, or it's like the conversation's so boring or it just goes nowhere. So yeah, those are some of the issues that I've seen, but there's also pros too. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with what a lot of Brandon said. You hit a lot of points there in your what you just said. But I would like to add, I think it kind of stems from how we grew up, because our generation, I feel like we did, although we did have technology, we had like flip phones, we had Game Boys, but we also still played outside on with that aspect, with a lot of kids today don't do. So to the point that you were making with how social media can take up a lot of your time, I feel like that comes, especially with the younger generation, that comes from them. Like, that's kind of all they know, in a sense. They grew up with iPads and um and TVs and all that, so it's just a little different. So to make that point.
Yeah, and kind of adding to what Nia had said about brainwashing, I can definitely say that social media has made people a lot more easily impressionable, if that makes sense. Especially on Twitter and places where somebody has an opinion and then it becomes a popular opinion, and then people think that that's what you should believe, rather than having your own opinion and your own thought process, and going outside and letting your own experience dictate what you believe. So I think that in different ways, social media definitely impacts people's minds. From going outside and being, talking to other people, and what you think in your head. So.
Anybody next?
I definitely agree that social media and technology as a whole has become like it's a good pastime. And like Devin said, we did go outside when we were younger. We used to knock on our neighbors' doors and see if they were home and wanted to play outside or whatever. And now people don't do that. But then again, I also feel like it was safer. Times are different, and not like it was heck long ago, the times are different now, and it was safer back then to be outside just doing whatever.
Yeah, that makes a good point when you talk
Yeah,
about
that makes a
safety,
good point when you talk about.
and including with the technology perspective. I feel like a lot of someone told me a long time ago that bad news spreads faster than good news, and that definitely plays a role with social media. Um, all negative things are kind of shown, so I feel like people tend to gravitate towards that a lot. Oh, but yeah.
Yeah, I saw Chris Brown had said something about he dropped the album and didn't get any buzz. Nobody was talking about it, and then somebody said something bad about his album, and it was all over the shade room, all over Instagram, and you can see, like Devin said, bad news spreads faster, and people kind of care more, is what it looks like, about the bad things and the good things. And I don't know if that's because of social media or just times are changing and people think that, I don't know, negativity is more entertaining than positivity, which is sad.
Okay, well, since you brought up Chris Brown, it was like he had some girl had accused him of sexually assaulting her, and then it was proven that she was wrong because she was texting him and stuff, and it was all this proof that she falsely accused him of it. And he posted and he was like, I bet you guys aren't going to talk about this, like about how he was falsely accused and how she was wrong, but everybody was talking about how he was guilty when, when it first happened or whatever.
So I got a question for that, because I think that's an interesting point that you all think about. That's one thing about social media. A person could post something about you, they can make a comment, whether it's right or wrong, or you didn't or did not. A lot of times it's hard to remove that stuff. How do you all feel about that? We talk about changing the narrative. This is why we have to have these conversations, because a person could falsely accuse you, blast it on social media, 50 million people can see it, and then find out the person lied, impact your whole life, right? Because once it's that digital footprint, that digital receipt is there, you never get it back. Like, do y'all think we should make laws or something to make people, they have to change that? Or what do y'all feel about that? Because I think that's very, very important, because somebody can make a false claim. We've seen a number of articles where things happen and people come back and they said, oh, this person made a false report, but you never see their face in the paper. You never see their face on the news. Like, how do y'all feel about that?
I feel like it depends on the extent of the situation. Like that one movie, what is that movie called? It was on Netflix with the four boys, and one of them they got accused of raping
When
the
they
white.
kiss,
At the
like
park.
that.
Yeah, that movie.
I know what you're talking
I
about.
feel like that lady deserved jail time, because why would you? That man was in jail for, I forgot how long, but she deserved jail time for even falsely accusing him of doing that. So yeah, I feel like it depends on the extent of the situation.
Yeah, and to add on to your point, I mean, there is a law. Isn't it called like slander when you falsely say something about someone and it could ruin the reputation? So that partial is an effect. It does come to a bigger role when you add social media in there and technology, because things are on a broader platform. But I feel like it also comes down. That's why you can't believe everything you see on the internet, because some things you hear about somebody may not be true, or there might be more to the story. So that's why, like Brandon was saying earlier, it's important to limit or take everything with a grain of salt on social media and know what you experience in life, and with that personal connection with somebody, because what somebody else says on social media may just be their perspective on them or the experience they had with that situation. So I think it's important to just think about the other side.
I agree.
Yeah,
They do have like slander and then defamation of character, but also once it's up there, like anything that's on the internet, it can never be erased. Like really be truly erased. And like people who are falsely accused or lied on, or even if it's just your personal business being put out, you sometimes, if you want to address it, you can, but you just got to let it die down. You have to ignore it, I feel like.
yeah. I think one of the problems that I personally see is that nobody knows how to keep their business to themselves, or if they have a problem with somebody, not make it known to everyone. Everybody wants to feel like they're being seen, like they're being heard, like, people are paying attention to them. So at times you see people making problems when there isn't really one, or you see people posting these so-called subliminal messages on social media, like saying stuff like, I just think it's funny that this, or posting these memes or whatever that are supposed to show, or like, we could have been this, but you're all this other dumb crap. It's like people should just learn how to, like, when you have a problem with somebody or something, or you see something negative, talk directly to that person first. Don't just go off of what you heard from other people, because there's many different sides to one story. Of course, there's one end result, but there are other people in that story have different ways of getting to that end result. And if you find out all the information before, then it'll turn out a lot better. It's just, there's a famous saying, assumptions make an ass out of you and me. So if you make assumptions and you go off of based on assumptions, you're going to make an ass out of everybody, including yourself. So if you don't want to make an ass out of people, then find out your information first. And I think we've kind of lost that in popular culture. Everyone's so quick to take offense, blame somebody, say something without actually taking time to do thorough research. And that's kind of one of the drawbacks also of social media and technology, instant gratification. Everyone wants information quick. Everybody wants things quickly. Everybody wants to see the results. Everybody wants to just get through everything. No one wants to really take time to figure stuff out and do things. And that goes with holding people accountable on social media. If you start holding people accountable, it takes a lot of money and time. Well, that shouldn't be a problem, because it's the right thing to do. The right thing to do isn't always the most efficient thing to do, or doesn't draw in the most money. So they just pick and choose when they want to hold people accountable or not. Mainly when like the government's involved, or when like certain like political issues, maybe they'll do that. But any and everything else, you kind of got to handle on your own. You just got to make sure individually that you're not getting involved with the wrong people or doing the wrong things.
And I
Yeah,
also think
I think I've made an ass out of myself a lot making assumptions. But go ahead, y'all. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I also think that when it comes to social media and celebrities and stances like that, we have to remember that the people do not know us. You know, like I saw somebody was fist fighting literally over Meg and Tori. Meg don't know you and Tori don't know you. You know, and so at that point, sometimes we take stuff too far and take stances way too hard about stuff that really doesn't have to do with us because it's popular on social media and it's something that you see all the time. So I think with stuff like that, you just have to remember social media is not real life, and stuff that you see on the computer, you can really just turn the computer off, you know? So I don't know, keep social media or keep the internet on the internet and not bringing that to outside stuff.
Now you bring up a good point here, Kendall, but I gotta push back. That's why this is both sides of the conversation. I used to think that everything on social media ain't real. I say, this just people just trolling and all of that, right? But it's more and more people now that's doing the same things that they post on social media. So how do you differentiate what's real and what's not? I didn't see people talk about pull up, and then next thing you know, I read an article. This person pulled up on this person and got shot down 4 times. How do you differentiate on social media what's real and what's not?
Well, I think that using personal judgment is super important, and knowing that certain like celebrity stuff is using personal judgment. You know that has nothing to do with you in your real life. But if you're arguing with somebody that you know, or somebody that's not A-list celebrity or whatever, and you know that they can really come pull up, then that's different, and you can differentiate that between social media and like the shade room and somebody you arguing with on Facebook. They're two separate things to me.
Yeah, and then piggybacking off of what she's saying, if someone, like I told you, if this problem would be solved if someone actually has a real problem, they didn't bring it up on social media because it's almost impossible to tell whether it's something's a real problem or not because you can make anything look like anything on social media. It's not that difficult. You can fake, you could do a Photoshop, you could like show certain parts of a conversation that make it look like it's something when it's really not. So it's just important to make sure that you don't get involved with anything or you don't be around people that's outside like your circle of friends or family because you just simply don't know. And like you said, it's almost impossible to know every single time, is this fake or is this real? It's just you gotta chalk it up as, well, why am I even like you have to ask yourself, why do I care about this? What does this get me? And do I really feel like I should be paying this as much attention as I am? Because it's almost impossible to figure out every single time, is this real or is this fake? You can try, but it's gonna be tough.
Go ahead, Miss Tarika. You keep coming off your mic. Go ahead. What
Like
you got to say?
Brandon, um, people do act bold on the internet as if people aren't really about that life and will really put the phone down and tell you to pull up. So it's like really just keeping yourself in check. It's like, like put down a book, go outside, like read something.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And like Brandon said, Photoshop and so many things. I mean, I love technology. I love social media. I love a lot of the way we could gain and receive information fast. Something could be happening in the East Coast. We find out in seconds. But then sometimes, like Brandon said, these applications, these things can just cause problems for you. I mean, I had people having pictures of me in Jamaica, people having pictures of me in Hawaii. I'm like, I wasn't there with them. I'm at parties and different things of that nature. So you got to be careful out here. I mean, because nowadays when people have their camera up, you don't know what's going on, right? And that's kind of, I'm glad you all are talking about this because we have to also educate our elders of the community. A lot of them not really so advanced in social media and technology. And then just to our younger people under you all ages, the younger folks in elementary and kindergarten. I mean, it's a lot of stuff on there that, you have to protect the kids because they don't always know. I was driving back from Sacramento yesterday with my grandbaby in the car, 6 years old. Now, there's supposed to be a child filter on YouTube, and she got Cardi B song talking about I don't cook, clean, and all of this, right? I'm like, what the heck, right? So I cut it off, and then she's like, what, Papa? I said, oh, that's why you don't clean up your room because you're listening to them, huh? Okay. But again, this social media stuff, it's just it's hard, right? I mean, here it is, both sides of the conversation. We're a digital media platform, right? We have to take pictures. We have to do stuff in the community to show what's going on and also keep our community, informed of what's going on. But what if we lose, those privileges because people feel like, they could just do whatever? I mean, we got to really look at this. And I'm glad we're talking about it because it makes me think all of the time, like, the situations we could put ourselves in through social media. Go ahead. I
I'm
see somebody.
I'm still stuck on the fact that you said your 6-year-old niece was listening to WAP.
No, my granddaughter, not WAP. It was that that little meme that they have with Cardi B saying, "I don't cook, I don't clean." You know that part.
Oh, I thought you said she was listening because that's the lyrics in that song. I was like, "There's whoa, you need to no, all right, we're good, never mind." But no, yeah, that's another thing, right? Especially with children, I especially this is my personal opinion. Everybody can do what they want with their kids, but I think until you're old enough to understand the difference between reality versus entertainment, you should be very careful about monitoring what your children watch because then they start to think that stuff's real. There's a story that I heard a long time ago about this kid. I'm pretty sure you've all heard the story. He jumped in his mom. He played GTA so much he actually jumped and he stole, I believe, his grandmother's car and then he drove off in it. And he was going down the road and then the cops pulled him over and he's like, they asked him, why'd you do that, and then basically they found out he thought that it was okay because of the games he was playing. And same thing with certain things that are seen. There's nothing wrong with entertaining yourself. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with allowing kids to watch entertainment, but you should monitor exactly what they're watching. Because even when I was growing up, my parents didn't let me watch certain things because even when I was watching martial arts movies, me and my brother would actually try to act that stuff out, and we thought it was cool. We actually, only reason we didn't get in trouble at school for trying moves on people is because I was more scared of my parents than I was of the kids at school. So I was scared of what they do to me if I tried to beat anybody up. So you gotta be careful of how much your kids are getting to do that stuff, and we have to be careful for ourselves as well because we're not immune. With all the information that's coming at us, especially on social media, our brains and our body are not designed to take in all this information at once. So it's important that's why you have to limit it because otherwise your brain starts to become mushy. You only think about those things. So yeah, it's important to just do the best you can.
I like that point that you made, Brandon, about the internet and technology being so overwhelming at times. And I know for myself, I love to be on Instagram. But when I have so many things coming at me, I'm like, you know what, let me put my phone down. This is beginning to be too much for me. I'm seeing too much trauma, too much craziness is happening. So how do you all say, you know what, I've been on Instagram enough, I've been doing this enough, let me put my phone down? Do you guys ever feel like you have to decompress from all the stuff that you have been taking in from technology and Instagram and things like that?
Yes, but sometimes my problem will be I'll put my phone down, but I'll go turn on my TV and watch Netflix. Not that it's a problem, but it's like not really, it's not too different, like I won't put my phone down and go outside per se. I will put my phone down and stay in the same spot and turn my TV on. So
The way some ways that I take breaks from social media, like I've turned off my notifications for Instagram and for Twitter and for TikTok, yeah, because like you said, like you'll put your phone down and then find yourself watching Netflix or something. So I feel like it's kind of similar. But yeah, I do, to touch back to your point, I do agree that we need breaks because it can be overwhelming a lot, especially when you have something to do or you have just running errands or things, and you'll just find yourself scrolling on TikTok for 3 hours and be like, dang, where did the time go? You know what I mean? So that's one of the ways that I've tried to lessen my connection to my phone if I turn off my notification, and it helps, but I could still find some other ways to get better.
I was gonna say TikTok too because it's just like when you're on there, you don't even know, and then it'll be like 3 o'clock in the morning. You'll be like, I'm still on here, or you'll scroll and it'll be a post, and it'd be like somebody be like, you're still on TikTok. You need to get off TikTok. Like it's time for you to put your phone down and go to bed, or something like that. When people post that, I'd be like, wow, I really have been on here for too long because why am I seeing this?
Yeah, and for me, I feel like if I'm on my phone for too long, I feel unproductive. If it's during the day and I have stuff to do and I'm on my phone for too long, I could tell like I don't have this done, I don't have this done, I need to get off the phone. And sometimes it's kind of hard because I'll get off my phone and do other stuff. And then personally, Xavier is heavy on Twitter. Our university, like the students at Xavier, they're heavy Twitter users. There's always something new going on, another conversation. So sometimes it makes you feel kind of disconnected from certain things because they're talking about topics and then it carries over to real life and people are talking about it in real life and you don't know. But at the same time, that may be a good thing because it's negative conversations, so it's a balance between knowing when to be connected and being like, I don't really care because it's negative anyways.
Yeah, I think that's good, valid points that you all made, and I think this is why this conversation is so good, because we're in a community, we involved with so many things here at both sides of the conversation. I do a lot of reentry work with youth that's locked up and things of that nature. But what I find is, social media has been an active thing that's creating violence in our community. We got a lot of young people who are like doing violence to each other, posting it on social media. You got young people fighting on social media. And, this stuff is causing sometimes violence in our community. I mean, it's to the point, even in Chicago, they was talking about how these rappers was going around shooting each other and bragging on social media. Like, yeah, we just went over there and shot him. And it escalates stuff on social media. How do you all feel about the interaction on Facebook? And I hear you, Brandon, because a lot of times I do it. I share stuff from World Star to our group. And one is not to like continue to promote the violence, right? I think because so many people have disconnected from news, right? A lot of people don't watch the news. We have to keep our community also aware of what's going on. I mean, these stories about people, robbing old ladies, running up in people's houses, doing home invasions, people scamming, using credit card identity theft. I think it's a place we have to also know about these things so that we could definitely let our community know. Because, I mean, part of it is bringing awareness to communication. But I think it also has its place, too, to just let people know these are the things that's going on, what to be aware of. Because if you don't know, you don't know. Things happen. And, we have to take a stance and we have to use social media sometimes.
Yeah, you're right. The only issue that I have with that concept is when people act like all this stuff is like just brand new and this is just now happening, it's just now a problem, or there's just now involving issues with stuff. Like how it's like I feel like when it comes to addressing problems in social media in general, it mainly is kind of like a trend. Like, I'll give you a prime example. When George Floyd died, it was trendy for it to be Black Lives Matter, and then that died out until the next really bad thing happened, and then there was the Ukrainian war. That became a whole trend. We need to stop this. We need to send aid. Then that died, and then it was hashtag Stop Asian Hate. We need to stop Asians from getting beat up, and then that died, and then Will Smith smacked the crap out of Chris Rock, and then all of a sudden that's a problem. Oh, toxic masculinity is a huge issue, or oh, Jade is wrong for doing this. It's like then that died down, and now we're back at Asian hate for the more trendy stuff, and then you. So that's not really doing anything or solving anything. It's going with whatever's popular at the moment to try to sell people stuff or to get people to click on Instagram and all that. So when it comes to, like you said, if we're actually genuinely informing people, it should be a constant thing. It shouldn't just be you pick a certain topic that just so happens to be popular or that people have decided to talk about because one video blew up. So I think it is good to talk about the issues that do happen and to report them. It's important to be consistent with that, consistently report on those issues and don't just try to follow the trends, because then it looks disingenuous. And that's why when I see all these trends and all this other crap saying, like, for example, when they were posting black boxes on social media, to me that was really stupid, because I'm like, what are you doing posting a black box? What the hell that gonna do? You just posting a box, a picture. You're not donating to anybody. You're not helping a black family. You're posting a box. Cool, great. You acknowledge that we have problems, but do something. Go educate yourself. Go read a book, get involved with the organization, do something else besides just jump on social media and say something or show a video. There has to be more action to that besides that. So yes, I agree with you, John. Say something, because if you don't know, then you can't do anything about it. But at the same time, you got to do more than just that. And you got to be consistent. You can't just choose when and when you want to do it.
Yeah, I want to ask all you guys a question too about this solidarity thing, and I hear you, Brandon. It's like I get flack for that. When I say stuff, people throw me under the bus, right? But it is a problem with solidarity in our community, right? We just talked about what happened to Uncle Stank, right? These same attacks was happening in the Asian community. People were robbing, beating up on Asian folks, different folks, transient folks, mental health folks, just different folks, right? This incident happened, but what I'm having a struggle with, and I want to hear y'all point what solidarity looks like to y'all. Because see, they get mad at me because I say, hey, solidarity means to me, okay, 365 days a year, if we say we community and we in solidarity, we all together address all issues that impact all of our communities. And I agree with you. When the Asian hate stuff was going on, everybody was surrounded and supporting, right? Then something happened to black folks, nobody showed up. Police do something to a black man, gun him down. Where are these people at? Where was the Indian community? Where was these different folks at? And this is why sometimes we get the struggle and the bad rap, because solidarity means when something happened to somebody, we all get behind it. You get what I'm saying? So like this violent attack just happened to Uncle Stank, right? He was protecting the kids in his center. Where's all of those communities at? Okay, it's a GoFundMe. They all should be supporting. And that's showing solidarity. Like, hey, something happened to them, we're going to get behind you. Y'all do something in the Asian community, everybody go get behind them. Something happened into the Indian community, everybody's behind them. If we don't have that kind of solidarity, then what the heck is solidarity? And that's what I ask these people when I'm on these meetings. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean? Like, we got to do this together. So I'm glad you said that, because it does look like we're just jumping behind people, for instance, an incident and trending off of it, and then it goes away, and it takes away that steam. It takes away that momentum. And I definitely agree with you, Brandon. We got to do something better. Like, if we're going to do it, make it all the time, keep it consistent, and let's do it all year long. So I agree with you on that. Anybody else, go ahead, jump in there.
I agree with you as well. I think, not to make this like an excuse, but it's like some people tend to, like you said, there's so many things that are always happening. They're like, oh, I'll support the next one. Or I missed this one, but I'll support the next one. So that's why I think sometimes it can be hard to be a union, or like in solidarity as one. But Brandon had mentioned following the trends, and to the flip side of that, I wanted to bring up how it's important to create your own narrative on social media, and how our generation, and specifically has been creating their own brands, building businesses on social media. Like, so there's also that positive side to having social media and technology around. I personally don't have like a brand on social media, but I do know there are those who do. And for instance, Kendall has one. I'll let her talk about herself, actually.
Thank you, Devin. So I said earlier, I go to Xavier, and I'm actually a public health pre-law major. So for me, I made a law account on Instagram. I have my personal account, but I also have my, so I did a little play on words. It's Future Law Her, like future lawyer, but LAWHER. And it's basically just for me to share my experiences. And personally, everybody's experience is different, but for me, I started off wanting to be a doctor, and then changed my path, decided to go to law school and be a medical malpractice attorney. So I'm just kind of documenting my path with that. And I got, when I made my account, there was a lot of people supporting me, a lot of people asking me, did I need things to help, my dad, or, my uncle's a lawyer, or my dad works, in the attorney's office or whatever, trying to connect me with different people. So that kind of helped me a lot, because I'm going through it, and there's obstacles, there's different things in my path, but having people to help makes things a lot easier, and sharing my experiences also make things a lot easier. So for that, I think social media has helped. But going back to what Brandon said about trends, I feel like, trends it's kind of sticky, because showing support in the moment is still showing people, what am I trying to say? When you're showing support in the moment and you're following the trend, you're still learning about what's going on. If it's something that I didn't know about, and then it becomes a big trend, and I'm learning about something that I already didn't know about, it's still positive. It's just what you do after you learn about it. If you go donate or if you sign petitions, that helps the cause even more. But I think it's okay to share on social media and get more people to learn about what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with that. I just think that you should go forward with that and donate and actually be passionate about what you're sharing, if that makes sense.
Definitely makes sense. So what do y'all feel about, like you said earlier, why is it that negative stuff gets so much publicity? How do we program our mind, not only our young people, but the elders in the community? How do we program our minds to get behind the positivity? Because it's like a girl could go in there and twerk and get 2 million followers, but you post something that says, come support a black person or come support something, and you get no followers. But then we also got to talk about the fake influencers too, y'all. Y'all talking about technology. What about these fake influencers? Why y'all not talking about the lady who had 25 million followers and she threw her event and nobody showed up? What about that part of social media?
I think I don't that's tough because it's like, are you a fake influencer or are your followers real? Like, did you buy your followers? Because if you bought your followers, why would you have an event? And then that's so out of pocket because that's so embarrassing. Not embarrassing, but that probably really hurt her that nobody really showed up to support her in her event. Like, nobody showed up. That's out of line. But as far as like, people are messy, okay? So they're gonna promote all the negative stuff because they're just messy. They're looking for the next laugh. They're not, trying to promote positivity or like a lot of people are supporting though. I've been seeing a lot of people, like a lot of people that I follow post black businesses, like just a list of black businesses on their story. But mainly people are just messy and they looking for entertainment, not really promotion.
Anybody else?
I agree. And I think it's kind of, I think social media isn't all negative though. There's a lot of people that, I saw somebody on Twitter say, they posted, I want something to wear, list a bunch of black brands in the Bay Area so I could shop from them. People do want to support black businesses and small businesses in the community. You just have to kind of look for it on social media because everybody has a social media account with their brand. If it's Instagram, if it's TikTok, Twitter, social media builds your brand. So I think that in that case, it's kind of knowing your audience. Like you said, with the person who had the event and nobody showed up, Deja said if they bought their followers and they have a fake brand, they knew that they bought their followers and still had an event. Who did they think was going to show up? That's on you, especially if you're not really going out and networking. I think having face-to-face interaction is a lot more effective than actually, than texting somebody or DMing somebody. If you go out and pass out flyers and somebody sees your actual face and talks to you and builds that connection one-on-one, they're more likely to go to an event of yours than I DM'd you and I've never really met you in person, so I don't really care that I didn't show up to your event. It's a lot easier to do something for somebody or for somebody to support you if it's in person.
No, definitely. I mean, that's why I didn't do it. I never was into that clout chasing. I only have 100 followers, but you know what? Those 100 people show up to my events, And when I seen that lady, I said, that's the reason why you don't do it. It looks good for numbers. You scroll past people YouTube channels, you see 200,000 people, but they not getting 200,000 people coming to their events. I remember we did a bowling event earlier this year. We had 315 people show up. And somebody that had like 75,000 followers more than me through an event, it was probably like 5 people there. So again, it's not always about the numbers. It's about being authentic. It's about being real. And, that's what we always choose to do here at both sides of the conversation, to stay authentic, stay real. I always tell people we're not CNN, we're not Fox News, we're not corporate. This ain't the church media. We keep it real because we want to hear from our people. When we say we're changing the narrative from our voices, I want to hear really from you. I don't want y'all to be like, oh, I'm live. Say what you feel, because again, we want authenticity. We want people to just tell their truths. And we glad you all are here talking about this social media. But Brandon, you touched on the young folks earlier, saying the younger folks. But what about these teenage folks that's 16, the Tay population, 14 to 24, that is heavily influenced by this drill music, by these rappers? It seems like all these young folks are still not understanding the difference between reality and what's fake. I see a lot of young folks, and I try to tell them, they laugh at me, and they think all these rappers got all this money. I say, man, they rented that car. They rented that jewelry. They're like, no, well, he got it all the time. Some of them do. I'm not saying all of them don't have money, but there's a large number of these folks who rent this stuff to do their videos, rent these Bentleys, rent these Ferraris and stuff. How do we change that narrative and that messaging to our young Tay population and let them know this is not real, or really express to them on these social media sites that they see that it's always not real, so that they don't get influenced?
I think it's just how you just did it right now. That's the best way to do it. It's just telling them, because if what you don't know, you don't know. So yeah, you just have to know, like, it's also part of their brand to have those. That's why they do it, to have those cars, to have the chains and things like that. So you just have to, I think it's important just to have the conversation about it and inform our youth, younger than us and older.
Look, sometimes you can tell someone something, they'll listen to you. Sometimes you tell someone something, they have to learn the hard way. There's nothing you can do about that. Ultimately, I was told about that type of stuff, and I just listened, and then that was it. Now, I'm not perfect in everything, obviously. I made mistakes and other stuff, and I had to learn the hard way. But when it came to those things, it was easier for me to understand and learn. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Also, do your own research. If you really want to know what those rappers are like, they tell you during interviews how it'll go. I've watched interviews of various rappers, R&B artists, and singers, and they do tell you the truth. It's just it's not promoted as much as when they talk about the other stuff. They do say, "Yeah, man, I was broke when I made that video, and none of that stuff's mine. I don't own any of that crap." And the first time I got paid was like at least like a year or two after I made my music. Or you could talk, or football players, for example. You can look up the statistics. What percentage of football players go broke after they go to the league, or what percentage of artists actually make it, or how much money do artists spend on themselves versus like all the other things that go with it, like there's touring, there's the bus, there's the people you got to pay for all that stuff, then there's like a bunch of other things. So you got to just do your own research, encourage people to do their own research. Don't just You can't tell people everything. People got to find out stuff for themselves. So that's the best way that you could possibly help somebody to understand the difference between what's real and what's fake, is doing your own research and taking the time, like I said, to do that. So, and like I said, you could talk to people till you're blue in the face. Doesn't mean they're going to listen to you. So it's either you listen and you do your own research and then you reinforce it, or you don't listen, you fall into it, you learn the hard way, and then you tell others. So, I mean, there's no guaranteed surefire way to make sure kids understand that crap's fake. You just got to keep telling them, or you got to keep encouraging them. Hey, do your own research, look up their interviews, look up statistics, all that stuff. It's all the proof is in the pudding. It's out there. You just got to find it.
I agree with you, Brandon. I remember seeing this video of, I forget if it was Polo G or Quando Rondo. I think it was Quando Rondo, but he was on Genius. If you guys don't know what that is, that's you talk about your lyrics, about what they mean and stuff. And he was saying something about how he was shooting somebody in his song, but he was like, in the Genius interview, he was like, I never shot nobody a day in my life. And he was like, I don't even have that car. That was rental. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like, social media is not going to do the research for you. You do have to do your own research. They'll portray everything that is fake, pretty much.
And building off of what you said about learning the hard way, I think at like 13, 14, you're still figuring out who you are. So you're super impressionable. You see stuff on social media, you see these rappers or whoever else, and you latch onto that. But then once you figure out your own identity, you're not going to latch onto that as much, because you know who you are, and you don't have to look at other people and figure out who you are from other people. So I think, like he said, learning the hard way is kind of necessary to keep going. If you're not one of those people that just, my parents told me this, so I'm gonna believe it. It's not always bad to learn the hard way and then have that experience, and then you can keep going from there.
I agree. I feel like it's important. I feel like everybody should watch interviews of like artists that they like or are motivated or inspired by, to see what their life was like. Like, who was that? Young Miami on Carisha Please. She had Kevin Gates on there, and Kevin Gates was talking about how he shot himself in the head when he was 17. He still has a bullet in his head. He was about to kill himself again in 2020. Like, you really never know what's going on with people. Like, he deleted his Instagram and he was just going to go do it. And it was just a random white boy that had came up to him in the gym and just was basically praising him, telling him how much his music helped him and stuff, and then talked him off the ledge because he was really about to go kill himself after he left the gym in 2020. So and now he's just doing it for everybody else. And I don't know. It's important to see the backstory or to hear the backstory of artists you like. But to change the topic a little bit, where do you guys think we would be without technology?
Honestly, I don't know, because we're so heavily influenced by technology, and not even just us, our parents, not necessarily our grandparents, but our generation and the generation above us are so, everybody has a computer, everybody at work is working off a laptop or a desktop or whatever, emailing rather than, we don't send notes and stuff, we text or email or whatever. Like, I really don't know where we would be without technology. It's everywhere.
Honestly, sometimes I think like, oh, it would have been nice to have lived during the 80s, 90s, but I think now technology is so useful. For say, I have this professor at Clark. Um, he's old school, so we have to turn things in with paper. We have to write the attendance on paper, or we take the attendance with him. He'll call our name, but he loses the papers and he'll blame you for it. And so I'm just like, we're in the 21st century. Why are we not using Canvas? Why are we still using papers? We don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah,
I
it
was
was.
having a conversation with my coworker the other day, and she's like, she's an elderly lady, like she's supposed to retire in a few years. But she was telling me, we were having a conversation about technology, and she was telling me how she thinks, this is her perspective, how she thinks that our generation, we just wouldn't have made it back then, because the way that she grew up, she, like, the teacher will sign a essay or something, and she'll know how to spell a word. She'll have to go look in a dictionary to go look up the word. Or she was saying how, like, maps, just to get around the city, they had to know. She was telling me how she lost her phone, and how she lost her phone, and she felt like she was disconnected from the world. She hadn't memorized anybody's phone number. She didn't know where she was at. She was just lost. So um, I don't necessarily agree with her perspective. I think our generation would figure it out. But I just think it was a funny topic and a conversation that we had, how she thought we just wouldn't have made it without technology today.
I don't know if y'all would have made it, Devin. Y'all would have made it in the 80s and the 90s. I don't think y'all would have made it.
Okay,
Let me
so
tell you, it sucked, man. I used to have to, when somebody didn't answer the phone or you tried to get a hold of somebody, I had to walk 5 or 6 blocks, knock on their door and be like, man, I'm trying to call you. I don't know if y'all have ever do it. Now, I ain't gonna
okay,
lie. I wouldn't be able to get around without the technology now. I mean, GPS is beautiful, so I embrace it, because I know there's places I wouldn't be able to get around. But
uh, uh,
go ahead, Brandon.
I have a point to make on this because I've thought a lot about this question. Also, um, you have to realize something. When you don't necessarily, let me put it to you like this. I'll just take Google Maps as an example. If you really wanted to, you could go around, figure out all the bus routes, like I did. Figured out all the bus routes, figure out where every street goes, all that stuff. You can figure out the main streets that take you back to the highway. You can figure out the streets that take you to the schools. You can do all that by just simply paying attention to what's around you. When we have tech, we don't have to do that because it's a waste of time. Why do I need to go around looking at all the street signs and stuff when all the street signs are clearly on my phone and it tells me how to get from point A to point B. So you adapt according to what your environment is like, especially if you want to survive. If you want to do well, you're going to do what it takes to do well in that environment. That's just what we're doing as younger people. In order to succeed in the world, you got to be familiar with technology. You have to know how it works. You got to be able to use it effectively. Same thing with y'all in the 80s and 90s. You had to be in somewhat decent shape to go knock on your friend's house and tell him, hey, you got to answer your phone. Or you had to know where the line went in order to know you could call your friend's house. It's all about what you need at that point in time and period. We don't need to know how to do that, and we don't have to know how to do that. And now, if there's a situation where it's like, oh, all of a sudden none of us have can use tech anymore, and we just no, there's no phones or no anything. It might take a while. A few people might have a lot of issues, but at some point we'd be able to revert back. And then once that would issue, quote unquote, hypothetically speaking, would get fixed, we just immediately go back to that. Same thing with ancient times. People used bronze to fight people. Then they used stone. Then they used silk. Then they used iron. Do you think they just said, hey, we're just gonna, you know what? This iron stuff is cool and everything, but let's just go back to when we use bronze. Not as strong, not as effective, and not as useful. No, it's the same thing with tech. You think we're just gonna go, hey, you know what? I'm too dependent on this thing that helps me a lot, and I'm going to go back and make my life harder. No, no one's going to do that. That's a ridiculous argument, and that's a ridiculous debate to have, to be honest with you, because everyone wants to do things more. It's about developing more efficiency, more convenience. Will I make the argument that there are certain things that you should know how to do without using tech? Yes, but that depends on the job, depends on the circumstance, depends on what you're trying to do with your life. For this woman who, Princess Washington, what do you think technology will be like in the future? It'll just keep getting more advanced. I took a class on this actually in college. The technology is going to just further and further and further and further increase. Things are getting so powerful to the point, like, for example, phones are literally mega computers right now. They are so powerful and so strong and store so much information that they can continually make it smaller and continue to do it. All right. So technology is going to do nothing but further and further and further advance. There's crazy amounts of technology and advancements right now. So I think that I personally think that question's a little ridiculous, not being offensive to you. I've just heard it many times before, and I'm like, that's how human nature works. We're going to continually try to make things better and do things better. There's no point in asking what would happen. We'd obviously just figure it out, and then after we figured it out, it would just get further advanced. So, I mean,
but here's a real question. Since y'all young, y'all into technology, right? Do y'all young people, y'all tell me, with all the technology, do you worry about the future of jobs, right? You go to the grocery store now, it's self-checkout. You go to the bank, there's no tellers there. You got to do everything online. Are y'all worried about the jobs, or y'all just go turn into robot fixers? I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think about that.
Honestly, I think that some jobs should be worried about technology taking over. There's people are veering away from fast food, cashiers and stuff, because they just have computers that are doing kiosks, and you can go to the kiosk and order. Some jobs, yes, you should be worried, but like, I'm not going to a computer to do surgery on me. You know what I mean? Like, I think that there's always going to be jobs that you need people for, but yeah, some areas of occupation or some careers definitely should be worried about the future, about technology changing the way they're, changing whether or not they can do that job. Because if a computer can do the job for less money and more effectively, then I guess the top people believe that you can, then they're going to choose the computer just because of, they don't want to pay the money. They don't want to pay you.
Kiddo, I gotta push back on you there, kiddo. I gotta push back on you. I gotta push back, and this is the reason why. This is why I think my young people don't understand this. So I'm gonna give you 3 little reasons why I say that. Because I was in a grocery store one time, and they did have self checkout, and this young lady was working there. She probably was 19, 20 years old, and she kept saying, "Sir, you could just go to self checkout. You only have 4 items. This lady got a lot of stuff. Go over there." And then when I said, "No, I'm staying right here." She's like, "Look, it's nobody at self-checkout. Just go. You only got 4 items. This lady got all this stuff." I said, "I'm just going to wait here." So when I went up there and talked to her, I said, "Look, if I go to self-checkout, no matter how smart you is, they're going to take your job and turn you in this lane into a smart checkout, right? when you talk about technology, it is a thing to be afraid of for all industries. Okay, and this is what the young people are not thinking about it. I work at UCSF Medical Center. They already have robots that they're doing practice surgeries with. They already got security robots rolling around. Like, it's going to happen. Like, literally, we have unions right now, nurses unions fighting because the hospitals are trying to bring robots in there to do care on patients. Right now, we have a robot at my job that walks around. It goes to the patient desk and it puts out their pills, right? They do it all electronically. The robot rolls up to the patient while they're in the bed and says, here go your whatever 4 pills. You have to take this. We'll be back in 4 hours. Like, seriously, like, so when do we really open our lens up to think about how far is it going? I got a YouTube video. They got a robot they building in Japan right now that hangs sheetrock on houses, right? It's an actual robot that actually hangs sheetrock, right? So every industry is being impacted by technology. So when you say it's some industries, I think it's all industry. They got trucking now. They got trucks that drive by themselves. What about all those truck drivers who made money, right? Lawyers, right? Even lawyers. They got this new thing I see where they got now, it's supposed to be 100% efficient now. These lawyers, robots go in there and argue cases for people. So again, we got to really think holistically and we got to think above. How is this going to impact us all? Because I think people are nervous. I've been watching these articles, young people graduating out of college, worried about their future, jobs, and a lot of them mental health because they don't know. And they like committing suicide. So I think that's a real conversation we need to think about because technology is changing to where, and when you say bosses think who's smarter, a businessman is always going to think, I'm going to spend more money than a robot. Because you got to remember, a robot doesn't get tired. It don't need breaks. It don't have to use the bathroom. So no matter how smart you is, no matter how gifted you is, how many degrees you is, that businessman is going to choose a robot because a robot don't have to stop. It don't have to take a break. You get what I'm saying? So this is a real conversation I think we need to have further, but I hear you, but I have to push back a little bit.
Just as a rebuttal, there's nothing me or you can do about that. We live in a capitalistic society where people do whatever it takes to make money. You don't care about people's feelings. You think these companies are like, oh, I'm sorry, you're homeless. That sucks. They don't care. It's a sad thing to say, but they don't. I understand what you're saying. That's not right. It's not right to throw people out and to have, robots and everything take over everybody's job. It is something to worry about, but what can you really do? You can't just go to wherever the factory is that they're making the artificial trucks and all the artificial stuff and then destroy it, can you? And that's where the kind of the struggle happens. It's like the difference between efficiency versus inefficiency, money making, and capitalism versus people's lives, morals, and ethics. That's where the imbalance happens.
Right. And I see somebody said, how much greater will poverty become? What do you guys think that we can do to stop? Like, what can we do to stop the effects of technology becoming everything? To stop poverty growing because jobs are being lost. As a community, what can we do to come together and try to fight back, if that makes sense?
I think it's like the little things like John was doing, I guess, how he doesn't participate in self-checkout. So, you got to follow the money, and wherever you participate and spend your money is where, to an extent, I think the businesses and the technology world was going to follow. So, yeah.
But this is coming from an old man. I'm 43 years old. So y'all younger, y'all gonna have to tell me how it go. Cause I'm just hoping that enough of y'all work to put some money in there so I can have some pension and retirement. Okay. Y'all don't let these robots take all the jobs. I'm gonna leave it up to y'all. Okay.
And the crazy part about that is like if we go and we are on social media, like don't do self-checkout, don't do this, don't do that to support our cause. So that's where solidarity comes in, because a lot of people don't go into that. They don't they don't support that cause. So even if the United States is huge, so even if a good amount of people, Black people, whoever, believe in that cause and go for that, there's still the other people that are going to go to self-checkout because they don't care. And so that's where it's kind of, I wish that we had more solidarity within all communities. so that when there's issues like that, if everybody were like with the gas prices going up and people were, I'm not going to get gas. I think it was July 1st through, it was one of those, it was early July. And it was people going to the gas station, still getting gas. I don't care. I saw it, but I don't care. That doesn't help the movement. It doesn't help the movement have a solution, or something happen at the end, cause and effect. If some people are not going to get gas, but not enough people care about the cause enough to not participate, it's not going to have the same effect as it would if a big group of people were to come together and try to make a change.
Facts. Me personally, though, that self-checkout, I don't go over there. I try not to go over there because you get paid to do this. Why would I do your job for free? And then it's like the metaland, the metaverse or whatever, like people are selling land online. Why am I buying land online? Or they're making studios, and no, it's too much. Like people are gonna be like, okay, I think it was Kendall. Kendall has said that you guys were in somewhat good shape when you were walking 5 blocks after your friend didn't answer the phone, John. It's just people are already overweight now. Like when we really get into this metaverse stuff, like, and they're gonna be sitting at home with glasses on, traveling the world, everybody's gonna be obese.
Well, the obese problem is already a big problem. They blaming it on technology right now. I was just looking at one of the articles at work. It's one thing at UCSF is pretty cool. It's like they always got these articles. They post stuff on the walls, but the obesity rate in all communities are like increasing because more and more people are like gaming, social media, not working out, not doing stuff. And I think Devin's right. Even myself, you could get caught 3-4 hours on social media and not even do anything. So, maybe they're gonna have to put some kind of they got to put some kind of alarm or something to shut your phone down. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we in trouble when it comes to that. A lot of people are involved, in social media in different ways. But I think, it's a needed tool. I mean, it's almost like I rely on it. If I can't use social media or I can't use, my technology, man, I'm in trouble. So I worry about it. It's a good trouble to have. But yeah, I just don't know how far this is gonna go. I mean, it's to the point where now you can't do anything. I think somebody in the chat was talking about artificial intelligence. How much more of our privacy we gonna give up? People can watch you. They have this thing now where the government's trying to go into everybody's computers and homes unannounced and checking out stuff. So I don't know. Y'all not worried? I'm a little worried. So, I'll leave it there. I'm a little worried, y'all. Go ahead, Brandon.
I want to address the person in the chat, Sikati or whatever your name is in the username. I hope I said that right.
Sakati.
So, Sakati. So, I personally just want to tell you, I don't believe in these things that I am saying. I am simply telling you the truth. That's all I'm doing. I'm telling you the cold, hard facts. I personally see this. I believe that Jehovah God is going to take care of me as long as I continue to worship Him and do the best that I can. That's my personal belief. So whatever happens in the world happens, and all I can do is take care of the people around me and the community that I am in. And there's nothing else you can do about that. And especially when it comes to technology, the advancements, you can't stop those things. Once something is out there, you can't just pull it back in. Once you throw something out, you can't just yank it back. So with people getting replaced by tech, like I said, that's a money thing. Money, when it comes to money and capitalism, those things don't have feelings. So yes, it's a problem. Yes, there are things we can do to maybe slow it down slightly, but when it comes to like reality of people losing their jobs, that's something that's going to just continue to happen. And it's up to us, like I said, as people, we can help give each other jobs. We can build our own businesses. There are things you can do to stop the bleeding or slow it down, but there's nothing you could do to stop advancements, especially when it comes to tech. It's advancing entirely too fast, too quickly, and there's a lot that's being done, things that we don't even know about yet. There's projects and prototypes, all types of crazy stuff that we haven't even heard of yet, especially in Japan. People understand just how advanced the tech is in Japan. And another big thing about Japan is we felt so bad for what we did to them when we dropped those bombs that we continually give them money and aid. So that's why they're able to do all the things that they're doing. And then they themselves have created these different things and all this tech and stuff. So I just didn't appreciate you saying my thinking was errant, because that's not my thinking. It's just something that I simply have witnessed in the world. I don't particularly like it. I don't love it, but that's just how the world is. It keeps moving forward despite how all of us may really feel about it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like I said,
See,
that was
Brandon,
my response to that.
now Sakati wants to come on and have a conversation with you, Brandon. You see how you
That's fine.
you just draw the audience, you just draw them in.
That's
I'm gonna
okay.
give Sakati a link and let her come up here and say something to you. But go ahead, y'all keep the conversation moving.
But before we let Sakadio, I just wanted to add that, John, you were saying earlier how our generation isn't nervous or scared or any of that. That's not true. We don't want to live in a virtual reality world either. That's not like, I like to see things real life. I like to experience real life situation and experience. I want to touch the trees and feel the air. I don't want to have fake. I don't know how deep it can go, but I just want to make that clear that we don't want to live in a virtual reality world with glasses on either. That don't sound fun to me.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like.
Go ahead, Kendall.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I feel like a lot of people think that our generation just we're blind to, the fact that technology is just as bad as it is good. And, we don't want that stuff to happen either. We just don't really focus too much on the negative as much as the older generation does, just because you guys lived with less technology. So for you, it's not for you, but you know what I mean? For the older generation, it's a drastic change, and it's just changing more. But for us, we just we don't want to focus on it too much, but it's still something that we're worried about. I can speak for myself. I'm worried about.
I was gonna say about virtual reality, like Devin and I went and we did the sandbox VR thing in San Ramon, and it just felt so real. Like, and we were shooting the zombies and like the birds and stuff. It felt so real, and I couldn't imagine like really living, because I could see him like in his little artificial form or whatever through the goggles, and it's just like that could really be our life in like 50 years.
Yeah, I just want to add that was fun. The Sandbox VR, that was fun. Y'all should go check that out, and they should sponsor us. Just saying that. But,
oh God,
it was real. That was real.
Y'all put it in the chat, and we'll reach him out. We'll reach out to him.
Like what Asia was saying, I will do that. But that was real. It felt like we were literally in the zombie little world. It was crazy.
you could feel them jumping on you. Everything
Yeah,
like there was a
put it in the chat. We'll put it on the screen.
It was crazy.
But I want y'all to know, first of all, because I was kind of trying to give Sakati the text to get in, but I want y'all to know I'm with the young people, so don't get it twisted. I'm just saying, I want y'all to also think outside of the books. I always listen to young people. I think you guys are the most brilliant generation of young people. I didn't have all this technology. What somebody said earlier, yeah, I had to go to the library. We had to rent out a book, to get information, and you guys got Google at the drop of your dime, and this is why I argue and fight with young people so much. These kids I mentor, I talk to these kids that's locked up in juvenile hall. Like, how could you not get straight A's? Like, you could be anywhere in the world on Google. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have access to information that fast when we came up. We had to get a book. We had to go to the library. We had to get a Expedia. We had to do all kind of stuff. Now you can just type the word in. You can say China, and they tell you everything. Like, so a lot of times that's where my frustration is. I'm just like, hey, that's why I get mad when I see young people. I'll be like, y'all should be getting straight A's. There's no excuse. It's just no excuse. Like, everything you want to know about is online now. Everything, math problems, science. I mean, YouTube University is powerful. You can learn about everything on YouTube. You know how many stuff I can put together just watching a YouTube video? So again, it's like, using this technology for something positive, I think, and something to be informative is definitely very great. And I think that's why sometimes I get so frustrated with young people, because I'm like, it's not an excuse. If you can't figure out how to put a dresser together, IKEA got a whole thing now, step by step. You buy something, box it, you watch a video, they say, pick up board A, take this screw, screw it in. So it's like, it's no excuse. I mean, like, come on, young people. Like, y'all gotta use the technology and stuff like that. But you know, no knock to you all. It's still a lot of stuff that everybody has to learn. But you know, it was hard for us in school, man. I just feel like y'all have it easier. And maybe that's my part of being wrong, just thinking y'all got it so easy. Because even within technology, you gotta know how to maneuver with it. But I mean, some of the stuff that I see, I just be like, come on, young people, y'all should not be getting less than 2.5 because it's just too easy. So I don't know where it's gonna go. But you know, like I said, I want to get a couple more people to say a few things before we close out. We're about 15 minutes away from ending today's show with our youth community. Thank you for the response. I see the community and the conversation as well. I see people texting me. Great conversation. Continue to support our young people. But we're gonna take this 5 minutes or 8 minutes to wrap up this conversation. We're gonna let them give a final shout out to everybody. And y'all send some love in the comments and let y'all young people know how y'all appreciate them, appreciate this conversation, because that's always important to them. They need to know that they're loved and appreciated, and we're behind them, and we're going to make sure we're going to support them and make sure that they all have money in their pocket. Y'all see these brilliant young people is in college all across the United States, and every dollar matters to them. So y'all do y'all part to support both sides of the conversation. We're going to do our part and make sure that these young folks have some money. Get behind us and support us. Bless the young people, people. All right, y'all, let's go. Ayana, you've been quiet for a minute. Miss Tarika, you ain't said nothing in a minute. I want to hear something. Come on, let y'all.
Well, I got something. I mean, you guys are having a good conversation, and we talked about, the virtual reality. But then I want to know, how do you all deal with the pressures of social media and like TikTok and Instagram? A lot of people are killing themselves because they feel like they can't compete or keep up. Or like a lot of you guys are in college and you feel like, once I graduate, I didn't making six figures, and that's really not reality. So how do you guys deal with that pressure that social media throws at you all to perform to like the highest level that really isn't reality? So how do you guys deal with that? What tips can you guys give other young people?
For me personally, go ahead, Tarika.
Okay, well, I would say that it's really just about knowing yourself and checking yourself, because I have even fallen into some spaces where I feel like, oh, I can't do this because I don't look like other people are doing it. But then it's really just taking the time to work on yourself and be like, oh, well, I see that I'm not doing this, or I'm lacking in this area. Let me work on myself so I feel like I can compete where I am the best at.
And I know Brandon talked about his background with, as far as like his religion and his faith. And a lot of our kids, a lot of kids nowadays, they don't go to church. They don't believe in a higher being, and when you have like the BBL movement, everybody want a big booty. How do the young ladies deal with that? The lace fronts, everybody want to get a wig. Everybody wants these different things that is just like, it's becoming a popular trend that, to me, I mean, really isn't that great, but it's something that's really high amongst us Black people. So how do you guys deal with that?
For me, back to what you had said about social media having kind of unrealistic standards. When it comes to what I'm doing, like in school, it's better for me to get with people that are trying to do the same thing as me, like the other pre-law majors or people that are on the same path as me or have been on that path, and ask them real questions like, how is it really? Not, all rainbows and lollipops, but what were your struggles? How did you overcome those struggles? And it helps get through it when you have other people that have gotten through it, and you see that, and they give you tips and tricks and show you what they did. That's kind of something that I use to help differentiate myself from the people that I see on social media that are thriving and look like, nothing was difficult for them.
Now, do you guys feel the pressure, though, of social media in certain aspects, like I just mentioned? Do you guys feel that sometimes?
Yeah, and I think for me, my faith keeps me grounded. I understand that all that stuff ain't really worth it. I see the bigger picture. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I see, the goals that I'm trying to hit, where I'm trying to get to be. That's why it's important. That's why I have what's called spiritual goals. I have goals of serving Jehovah, things that I want to do. Those help keep me focused on that mainly. And any and everything that does not help me to do those things, I cut that. I don't do it. I don't even participate in it. I let it go. It goes in one ear out the other, or I just don't look at it. So that's what helps me personally. And then another thing is you gotta, like I said, you gotta research and see things for what they really are. I'm gonna constantly say do your own research because there's so like I agree with John. There's so much information out there. There is no reason for you to get below 2.5. I do agree with that statement. So thank you for saying that. But there's so much information that you could use to be able to understand what those things fully, what happens when it comes to that type of stuff. Like when you get BBLs or, like there's guys, they, drink a lot of pre-workout or they get steroids or they get shots. Like most of those guys you see on there who have those shredded bodies and everything, if you just do some simple biology, you realize, yeah, that's all cool and dandy in your 20s, but once you get to like your 30s and 40s, you ain't gonna be able to maintain all that muscle. It's all gonna turn into fat. So why would I want to look like that? I can't maintain that. I'd rather have a nice toned body, and then I could just maintain that for the rest of my life. Or like, let's say I'm a dancer, for example, and some of the coolest dancing that you can do is like breaking, right? Everyone loves to see guys like do flips in the air or do all that acrobatics and stuff. I'm like, but I did research. That's all bad on your knees. And if you do one of those moves and you hurt yourself, you're screwed for life. So different things like that. Just understand the consequences. There's good and bad consequences to everything that you do. The important thing to realize is, are you willing to pay those consequences in terms of the negative ones? Are you willing to suffer what could possibly happen to you? And if the answer is no, don't do it. If the answer is yes, okay, that's on you. So, I mean, that's another way. And yeah, there's many different ways to go about doing it. That's just my personal process.
All right, Sakati's here, Brandon and team and young folks. Get ready to hear some questions from Sakati because she coming on to get y'all earful. Hey, Miss Sakati.
Hey, kings and queens, how y'all doing?
Good.
So, Brandon, I understand where you're at, but where I feel that you're errant in what you think is that first, you're a young man, right? I don't know your lived experience, but in my lived experience, what I've noticed is I hear a lot of you and the young me. Live a little longer and you'll feel the struggle. As far as faith, baby, I sat down in the penitentiary for 5 years and I studied for 5 years, uninterrupted, unbugged, and unbothered. But when I tell you that you have the ability to change this world one person at a time, the devil's a lie if he's telling you you can't. I was on a coalition where I was like, well, hopefully we get this done. The coalition I was on is the reason why people are still not being evicted right now for not being able to pay their rent in the midst of the moratorium in Alameda County. You can't tell me that numbers don't work. It is your job as the next generation to make sure that things do not get out of hand and in a situation where we become robotic with the robots, where we don't know who's real and who's fake. That is your job as the next generation. Errant in your thoughts. I say errant in your thoughts because at the age that you are at right now, you don't know. You haven't lived long enough to understand. Like, for instance, I couldn't understand when my great grandmother would tell me, you don't believe fat meat greasy, but you'll find out one day. Baby, when I tell you I know the meat is greasy, the fat is greasy, baby. It's greasy. But it takes years of walking in life to understand that. Faith, baby, I don't think you can out faith me yet. Because we could do some talks on some faith, baby. Now, I appreciate that you are in your faith and you need to be pulling other people in. And it is your responsibility to make sure that many are pulled into the fold and walking according to the scriptures. That is your job. Read your good book. It'll tell you that. It is your job to make sure that not one is lost in your circle. If you know people see people and he puts people on your heart, whether you know them or not, that is your work. That is your work. With regards to social media and technology, that is the biggest deterrent to the Black mind today. The greatest deterrent to the Black mind, the greatest deterrent to the Black mind today. It not only keeps you all from understanding the reality of what's really going on around you at times, but it also deters you from getting more studies done. It deters you from having face-to-face relationships because you'd rather text. It deters you from understanding that all this social media ain't real. Now, I'm not saying you personally, so please don't take it personal, but I'm generalizing. Social media is only as good as what you're using it for. If it ain't making you no money, it ain't making sense. So if you're using it to make your bread and get your bag right, I commend you for that, young people. But if you're spending more than 20 minutes on social media in a day and it has nothing to do with your job, you're failing yourself, you're failing your studies, and you're failing your community, because that could have been time you used to bring your community up. That could have been time you used to make sure you graduate earlier than them 4 years on that degree, because it's possible. It's possible. With regards to what John said about studying and whatnot, I'm on the level with you. I'm back in school. I'm up at Berkeley and De Anza simultaneously. So can't nobody tell me about, oh, it's too hard to hit these classes, baby. I had 20 units last semester, and the lowest grade I got was a B, and I'm 50. So I don't have empathy or sympathy for anybody that's in college that's younger than me, because y'all got more time, more energy. I'm working with 4 nonprofits, my own nonprofit, helping other people build their nonprofits, and some other stuff. So ain't nobody got more time than you. So I just commend each of you for coming on here today and giving your side of the conversation. But don't forget those who came before you in order to make it possible for you to even have a conversation. Because not even 60 years ago, this would not have been okay. Y'all wouldn't have been able to be on this line. Y'all wouldn't have had the audacity to speak up on the suffrage of Black folks, because they would have put you to death in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So don't ever forget history. Don't forget history. Don't forget history. Don't forget history, y'all. Y'all make sure you remember that before you were some great men and women who lost their lives, that you would be able to even sit on here and say this, that, and the third. But don't give up on the fact that y'all got greater work to do than we are doing now. Y'all got greater work to do, because you're now going to have to compete with robots. So y'all young folk, y'all young queens and kings, keep your mind focused on the education, because if you don't know how they do it, then you can't get greater than what they are. And don't forget, your ancestors built pyramids. They still trying to figure it out. So you come from greatness. Don't deny your greatness. Don't look backwards on your greatness. And do not ever let anyone tell you that greatness is not in you, because you're not niggas, you're niggas. Niggas was the word that they turned into nigga. You are kings and queens. You are royalty. Don't ever forget that. Blessings, grace, mercy, and favor to all of y'all. Get your studies on and don't have them people calling me.
All right. Thank you, Sakati, for giving us that love to the young people. Young people, if y'all got anything to say to her or respond, please do it now. If not, we're going to start checking out. But go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead.
So one thing I wanted to say, I appreciate you coming on here, and thank you for what you said. That was wonderful. I enjoyed that a lot. This is all I will say in response. I'm not trying to outfaith you. That's not the point. What's gonna happen is already written down in black and white. Nothing me or you say or do will change that. What's gonna happen is gonna happen. I'm just trying to get to that point. As a and I'm just the messenger. Nothing that I say is of my own initiative. It is things that I have personally studied and come to understand that Jehovah God has given me understanding of because I've asked him for it from the scriptures. That's all. And as for the technology stuff, you're right. We can change things, but ultimately, like the scriptures say, Jehovah is going to come and change all those things. I believe that Jehovah God is the solution to all our problems, and I believe that we can continue as a people to look out for each other and to continue to do the best we can. But ultimately, the only person powerful enough, strong enough to solve these issues is the supreme ruler of the entire universe. And that is my personal belief. And like I said, thank you so much. And as for your experiences and what you've been through, I'm sure you've been through much more than I have. I'm sure you're wiser than I am. I'm not going to ever argue that. You know, experience beats, no matter how smart I am, you have experience. So, yes, you're correct. I'm sure you have done more, you've been through more, all those different things. I just simply understand how tech works and why it can be a problem and why it can't be a problem. That is all. And the same thing with my grandmother, same thing with my folks. They are all definitely wiser than me. They have a lot more to say and everything. And I listen to them all the time. I talk to them frequently. Yeah, you're right. I still have a lot to learn, still have a lot of growing to do. But there are certain things that I understand that cannot be changed no matter what we say, no matter what we do. That's all I'm talking about. As for any and everything else, you're absolutely correct. You got me. But when it comes to that stuff, you can only do so much. But like I said, I really appreciate you coming on here. Thank you for telling me those things. You obviously wouldn't tell me those things if you didn't care. So I appreciate you saying all the stuff you said to me, and that's all I have to say for today. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, I just want y'all young people to know y'all smarter than me. I'm still trying to figure it out. My doorknob don't, my elevator don't go all the way to the 15th floor. Okay, so I need y'all. Okay, young people. All right, Kendall, you want to say something? Go ahead, Kendall.
Never mind. Well, never mind.
Anybody else want to say anything? See, I got young timers. I can't even remember what I was about to say. So I'm going to need y'all in a minute. I'm telling you, all this work, running around, I can't even think. So I'm going to need y'all young people. Keep getting smart because I'm going to be knocking on your door saying I need some help, okay? I'm going to be figuring it out. But with that being said, because I got a meeting I got to get to with my production team. But listen, everybody, this was a great, great show today. I am elated. This is just, an epic conversation with our young folks. This is what this is about. And thank you, Sakati, for just jumping in here on the youth conversation. And that's what it is, both sides of the conversation. I appreciate all of you for just coming on, giving your perspective. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. It's just all about different perspectives and how we interpret and understand things. The biggest thing is solidarity. How do we bridge the gap between our young people and our elders of the community? How do we educate each other about what's going on and how we lift each other up and build each other as a community? Because our young people is needed, okay? Especially the young Black man and the young Black brothers of the community, because we need protection in our community and we need strong, fierce, ground-wetted young people so that incidents that took place with Uncle Stank would not take place. Because if we got young, strong warriors who also love and care about our young kids, will never let things like that happen. So again, we need our young men, we need our young women with the brilliant minds that you all have to continue to move our communities forward. We always uplift and give praise to the Black women of our community. And our community don't move without y'all. So young queens on here, y'all are the ones that move our community forward. Y'all hold our families together. Y'all hold our houses together. And again, y'all are the movement, and we salute y'all up and much more respect to y'all always. But with that being said, before we go, every show we give everybody an opportunity to give away some parting words or some shout outs to anybody y'all want to shout out. This is the time we do it before we close out the show. So we're going to move around from the bottom to the top. We're going to start with Deja, then we're going to go to Tarika, Sakati, and Nia. We just go move around. You don't have to, but if you got any parting words, any game that you want to give to the young people, to the people watching today, so we got a lot of elders in the community watching. If y'all want to give them some advice, do it now before we close out today's show. So we're going to start with you. Go ahead, Deja.
To y'all kids, don't let them take social media too seriously. Like, I barely post on mine. I don't really care, for real. But make sure they get a little bit of taste outside. That's really it. Thank you for having me.
All right, no problem. Thank you, Deja, and we proud of you, and thank you for being part of this youth conversation here at both sides of the conversation, and just moving it on. And you all have enough insight being at the college campuses, growing up here in the Bay Area, doing what y'all supposed to do. Y'all representing well, and we just appreciate you all coming on with y'all perspectives as well. Tarika, go ahead and give us some parting words, or if you want to shout out anybody, your mom, or anybody, this is the time to do it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll shout out my mom. She was in the comments like the whole time. I just say to the kids to pick up a book, go outside, touch some grass, get off the internet.
All right. Thank you. That is true. Come on, community. Go put your 10 toes. Somebody told me that other day when I was doing meditation, they said, John, you got to take your shoes off and go somewhere and put your feet in the dirt, get grounded. So definitely get outside, young people, and get grounded and enjoy life. Enjoy the outside and enjoy the other things outside of social media. Sakati, you want to leave everybody with any parting words?
Yes, King, I do. I just want to commend you, youth, for doing what most people don't do, and that's taking it the next step and going to college. Do not stop with the bachelor's. That's the new AA. Make sure you guys go to grad school. Make sure you get every scholarship you could think about ever getting, and make sure that you use those scholarships to pay off your loans if you have any, and the rest you're going to let it stack up. And as you let it stack up, you purchase a house and then a car when you get out of college, and you will be, debt free. Leave the credit cards alone, get one, sit it to the side, use it to pay your bills, and then pay it off at the end of the month, and you will build your credit score. But make sure you do like these white folks do when you get these scholarships, put them in your pocket and pay off your bills. We don't have time to get bling or other shiny things, but what you need to do is make sure you come up, because when you get out, you don't need to have debt. If you need help finding scholarships, I'm down, I'm down, I'm down. But I hope to get invitations to everybody's graduation. Blessings and grace and prosperity to each one of you. And I pray that no one gets less than an A in your classes, and that everybody does graduate school in an Ivy League college. And when you get that Ivy League, don't forget to shout your girl out, because I might be at Harvard with you.
All right. Thank you, Sakati Queen, coming on, giving that love and support back to our young people. Nia, what you want to say to people before you leave today?
I just want to say thanks for listening. And for the young people, go ride a bike, go learn how to swim, because half of y'all can't. So that's it.
Man, that's real. That's true stuff. Y'all heard Nia. Go out there, get in the pool, learn something. Thank you, Nia, for that. I know you like, I'm ready to get out of here. I know y'all ready to go. Brandon, go ahead. We almost done, y'all.
Just last parting words. Just go out, enjoy your day, take the time to figure stuff out, really think about things. Don't just do things just to do them. Oh, thank you, Princess Washington. I appreciate it. But just do your own, like I said, biggest thing of the day. Do your own research, understand why you do things, ask yourself questions, ask other people questions. Try to learn as much as you possibly can, and just be truthful to not only to yourself but to other people. Be honest. All right.
See, Brandon, you're gonna take over my show. I got people texting me talking about you should have him co-host with you. They already trying to get you to take over my show. Y'all see how this works? But see, I'm one of those elders. I'm willing to pass the torch. I'm not gonna hold the torch. I'm gonna let my young people move both sides of the conversation to the highest, greatest point. I'm gonna pass the torch to my young people. Thank you, community, for reaching out. We love Brandon. Brandon, know he's family. Whenever he want to come on and join any conversation, he's more than welcome. Thank you again, Brandon, for being here today. We appreciate you, your perspective. And, we thank the family. We family. So I can say that my grandmother, your mother, for just being a blessing and making sure that, you are the young man that you are. You're a powerful young king. And your intellect, your knowledge is great. And I just appreciate you. And you got a welcome pass anytime you want to come on to come speak to the people. Kendall, with that being said, go ahead and talk to the people, Kendall.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate what everybody else really said. As far as kids really, really, really needed to go outside and learn about stuff that's not on the internet. Don't take the internet too seriously, and make those connections face to face. I think that face to face is always going to be better than DMing or Snapchatting or whatever the case is. So, just make sure you have those face to face connections. And thank you guys. Thank you everybody for having me and talking and everything. I really appreciated the conversation.
And Kendall, don't leave after we close out the show. You and Tarika, hold up, because we got something special for y'all too. So y'all just hang in there afterwards. But go ahead. Devin Ward, this brother right here, bad young brother right here down in the NO, man. Come on, go and talk to the people, young brother.
You guys pretty much said all my closing parts, but I do want to say thank you to Brandon and Kendall for getting on, and Sakati for getting on and having a good conversation. It was funny, but it was good. And yeah, thank you.
I miss you, Devin.
Yes, you do.
I appreciate that. Ayana, my co-host, y'all gonna see more of her. She ain't getting away. She thinks she just gonna step in when Tony is gone. Y'all gonna see her on some other show. We gonna get her. She got a calling. She don't even know it. But Ayana, go ahead and talk to the people. You want to give me shout outs or just give me words of encouragement to the young people?
Yes, let me just say thank you so much for having me today. It's been a privilege and an honor to be amongst all of you, just smart, intellectual young people. To you all, keep on shining bright. Don't let this social media world get the best of you or turn you into something that you're not. Just keep striving for the best. And I can't wait to see what you all have to offer for the future, because you guys are the future and we love you, we support you, and we're here for you. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you. I forgot to say Tarika too. Thank you for coming on.
No problem. Thank you as well, young people. Y'all heard it. We just thank you all for bringing this youth conversation to this platform. We've been trying to put this together for a while. A lot of young people we run to in the community, they feel like their voice is not being heard. A lot of elders in the community say they want to hear from the young people. What is y'all perspective? And I just really want to thank you all for being very intentional with the conversation, with a lot of intellect. We didn't hear no slang talk. Nobody was on here talking about you feel me. You know what I'm saying? They know what's going on, and we appreciate that. And we want to continue to uplift and empower and impact our youth. You all are on some amazing journeys. You've all just been through a lot, okay? Going through a pandemic that we've never been through, and you all still are there holding it together, doing the things that you need to do educationally. Y'all giving back to the community. Y'all got to understand, y'all speaking also gives back impact to our community. For the mothers, the fathers that's out there watching and learning and understanding, they might have teenage kids. You all are giving them the insight from the conversations that y'all bring. Don't think that your words are not impactful or powerful to people in the community, because it is. Every show we have, this is a digital footprint. Maybe there are people in church, maybe there's people outside doing things, but because we're on YouTube, because we're on social media, somebody somewhere will be able to watch this and replay it later and gain some information from you all. You all are some phenomenal scholars. I know your families are very proud of you all. Keep doing the great work, not only for your family, but for yourself. Too many times we tell young people and put pressure on them. You got to do this for grandma. You got to do this for mama. Don't quit for them. No, we don't want you to quit for yourself, because you all have a place. Even though this technology is moving fast, continue to remember that we want to slow things down the best way we can. Remember to take a break from social media. If you own there for too long, take a break. It's okay to disconnect. It's okay to get out in the wilderness. It's okay to just get out in the community, enjoy the sun, and enjoy the beauties that this earth has for us all, that we can enhance and use. So we just want to say thank you all for being here today. And y'all know both sides of the conversation. We're going to support you. Now we just got to get these ballers in the community that got all this money, these philanthropists, these people that got all this money. Come bless the young people. They need y'all support. We don't want them coming out of college with debt. We don't want them coming out going through financial hardships. We want to uplift them, and we want to help them move forward through this process. We want our young folks to be able to go to class and just focus on school and not have to worry about the bill that's coming next work. And I know we got some powerful people in the community that's watching that can make that happen. Let's invest in our youth. Let's spend some of that money on our youth that are taking the right steps. Let's get behind them. There's so much money that we put in the youth that have fell off and not doing the right thing. And this is why we want to have this conversation, because you all are going to college. You all are doing amazing things. And we want to make sure that we also put that money behind our kids who are excelling, doing the right thing. Because again, there's millions and millions of dollars that we put in for the kids who's taking the wrong turn. Not saying that it's not needed. But again, when we have young, powerful people like this who are doing things to impact our community, make change, we want to get behind them with those dollars. To all you philanthropists that always say y'all want to do something, all y'all people that's always screaming equity, we want to bring equity to the Black community. Here's an opportunity. Invest in our youth. Make sure they get the support that they need so that they can go ahead and excel and uplift our community. With that being said, finally, to all the young people on here, send prayers for Uncle Steak, James Spangola, the senior who was attacked this weekend, protecting our community, protecting our young ladies and young boys of the program and our community, his working staff. Tragic event, but we're going to continue to support him. Please go to the GoFundMe. You see it on the screen. We are blasting it all over our social media, all over, everywhere. Go to our website. It's up. You could go support. Every dollar counts. There's no dollar amount bigger than other. Support Uncle Stank. We want to make sure that him and his family has no questions, no asks, no needs. Whatever they need, we want to make sure that they have it. It is a traumatic, a violent experience. He has a grandchild the same age as mine, and no one wants their kids to see the type of brutal attack that happened to him and seeing him the way he was. We don't want that, and we want to support him. So that's what we're going to continue to do here at Both Sides of the Conversation. We thank you all for tuning in today. Continue to support our youth and our youth conversation. They'll be back. When we let y'all know, please tune in and uplift them and make sure that they feel supported as well in their conversations. With that being said, we will see you all next Tuesday for this coming up Tuesday for our next Hidden Gem segment, where we will continue to highlight our Black and brown businesses, as well as those community leaders that are doing positive things to impact our community. So come on and watch us this Tuesday. And if you know somebody who has a business, small, large, whatever, Bring them on, nominate them, tell them come on a hidden gem segment so the community know where they at and we can spend our black dollars with them and support, uplift them too, as well as any community folks that you all know that are doing phenomenal work with young people, elders. Tell them to come on so we can highlight them, give them their roses. Let's stop waiting till people die to give them their roses. We want to give them the roses and we want to salute and uplift them. And then Thursday, we'll have another Educational Thursday presentation and we'll continue to bring this information to our community. And then we'll get ready for our Sunday conversation next Sunday, unless our guests cancel. You know, sometimes that happens. Y'all get mad at me, blowing my phone. Why y'all didn't have no show tonight? Sometimes people cancel. Things happen. COVID's running around the neighborhood. I don't know. They just cancel. I can't do nothing about it. But again, if everything goes as planned, God's will, it's going to happen. We'll see y'all next week. But continue to show love. Continue to lead in love. Show humility. Show compassion. And again, elders of the community, listen to our young people. They have a message. They have an understanding. Be open to hear their side of the conversation, on both sides of the conversation. We love y'all. We see you all for our next live programming. Be safe to all our young people that went to the track yesterday. I hope y'all had a good time. Y'all know both sides of the conversation. We do it big. Young folks have fun out there. We'll see y'all on the next show. Blessings. Stay safe out there. Uplift the young folks in our community and spend them dollars with our young people. All right. Love y'all. See y'all next